Welcome to some more Switch Sports Golf action. We're playing online global play golf today, and this is the matchup that many of you have been asking for once that lobby pops up. We have Sensei, we have Duke, we have Eric, we have AP, we have Koa, we have a whole bunch of players from the ranked league, a bunch of infinite rated players. This should be a super stacked lobby with some great golf. But many of you have been asking me to play Sensei, and here we are, finally, in a matchup on video.
Nice shot.
So we're starting with hole 14 here. Now we're playing the global play rules. So the scoring's a little different. We only play 5 holes. It's a lot more chaotic. You can see all sorts of different wind conditions on any hole. But hole 14 with this wind is not a bad starting point. I took the safer route, more towards the left. This will be a longer shot, but I should have a good angle at this pin with the spoon. I'll hit it up there just a little bit less than pin high on the power meter. That should take a nice big bounce, which it typically does off that front fairway, and I'll end up about 5 feet away, which is pretty ideal and a good start. So we'll have to see how everyone else in the lobby does. Duke chips in. Wasn't exactly sure where Duke was, so Duke makes the eagle. I'll tap in for my eagle. A whole bunch of people ended up off the green. Oh, but Koa chips in from the back of the green. AP sinks a putt from the front fringe, so we see a whole bunch of eagles there. We'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all the infinite rated players, Sensei, Koa, make eagles on that hole. I believe Eric birdied. So from the ranked league, we see 6 eagles. Maybe there was one more mixed in there. And now we'll move on to a tougher hole 15 with some strong crosswind. So by the time we make it up here, it is more purely tailwind than crosswind. So there is some crosswind to it, but not a ton. Eric chips in. So Eric made a birdie on the first hole to fall behind by 4 points in a pretty stacked lobby, which is tough to come back from. And he makes the eagle on the second hole to come right back. Eric is one of the infinite rated players in this lobby, and he makes a clutch shot to avoid being eliminated in the first round. So I'll sink a birdie putt. I believe I'm still tied for first. I don't think anyone else eagled this one. So we see one eagle from Eric facing elimination to come back and tie for first. So 24 points is what was needed. So an eagle and a birdie in order to just stay alive in this lobby through some tougher conditions. We'll see hole 17 next, which is always a tougher one. Some crosswind is going to add to the difficulty here, but my drive won't glide. It won't take that launch roll, which is always preferable. And we'll see an opportunity for a birdie here. AP will sink the birdie. Sensei will sink the birdie. My putt should move a little bit right. It's a pretty straight putt, but I am on this hill to start here. So it straightens out and sinks. I'll make a nice birdie there. And we'll have to see who else in the lobby birdies. So Koa, it looks like, will be putting for par. And that was the only par, so everyone else birdies. We have a 5-way tie for first at 34 points through 3 holes. Sensei, me, AP, Duke, and Eric are tied for first with Koa just 3 points back. So a very stacked up leaderboard here, a whole lot of people tied for first. And we'll have not my favorite conditions on hole 18. So with 9-mile-an-hour winds, we have to go for that right island. And we should still be able to get there in 2. But this just makes this hole so much more difficult when you can't use that left island, at least for me. We'll have to see what everyone else is going for. So everyone else is going for the green. It looks like I should be able to safely make it with my power meter on this driver and just a little bit of crosswind.
Nice shot.
So my shot looks to be on a pretty good line, trending a little too far left maybe. Oh, but it'll launch. I'm not exactly sure if using the driver there is the wrong play, but my shot launches over the green after I landed it exactly where I wanted to. That felt like a safe landing spot. But now I'll end up well beyond the back of the green. Everyone else is going to be making eagles. We already see, I think, 2 eagles, maybe 3 fall. Sensei was in a good spot. I bet you he'll make the eagle as well. And my chip will go just to the right. So I had to try to chip that. Now that right island consistently gives me a ton of trouble. I'm just not the best at that very specific situation where you have to go for the right island on hole 18. So I'll fall back 4 points and be eliminated on a tough break launching over the back of that green. But Sensei, Duke, Eric, and AP are all still alive, tied in the finals, and will stick around and spectate. So we'll see how this one ends up. We'll see some tougher looking wins. I can't exactly see what the situation or what the wins are from the spectator mode, but they look strong based on those graphics flying across the screen, those little wisps that tell you what the win looks like. So hole 11 with that local pin is going to be tough because there's not a lot of green to the left, which is the direction the wind is coming from. There's one shot that looks like it's on a very good line. That's from Sensei. So he'll glide to a stop about maybe 10 to 15 feet past the hole. That should be a pretty straightforward putt from there. AP's shot is on the way. Eric's shot is on the way. We'll have to see where those end up. It looks like Eric's is trending a little more to the right, but that should come back and end up about, 5 to 10 feet or so away. So some nice approaches. I think I saw AP on the front left part of that green too. We'll see where Duke ends up. That one looks to be on a pretty good line, and it'll just roll back a little too strongly. So rather than trickling back and down, it ends up about 10 feet short. And Eric and AP have sunk their putts. I believe Sensei has as well. So we'll see if Duke can keep the four-way tie going into the closest to pin, and he will. So he'll sink that putt to force the four-way closest to pin. 58 points on the leaderboard is what it takes just to make it to the closest to pin. So that's 2 eagles and 3 birdies just to, stay within the top 4 in this extremely stacked lobby. The closest to pin's going to have some wind, and it'll be that top fairway on hole 12, which is one of my more preferred closest to pin. So a fun one here, and Duke will make it. So Duke will win. Sensei comes in 4th, Eric's in 3rd, AP is in 2nd in a super stacked lobby. A lot of infinite players there, a lot of rank up for grabs. And in this game 2, we match up with Sensei again. So we have a second chance here. The score, for those keeping track between our videos, is Sensei 1 and me 0, for those having the argument on who is better. Sensei is up 1 game. Now, a very limited sample size. We haven't played a ton, but he is a fantastic player, a very strong player for a very long time, a great content creator, a great educator of this game, and someone I just really enjoy playing against when I get the chance. So we have another chance here to play against Sensei. I'll leave my first drive a little bit short. We do have a couple new faces here. So KP Lixie is someone else from the Ranked League. Kuro is also someone from the Ranked League. We do have Sensei once again and AP. Now we have another infinite player here. Asphodel. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the name. But they're another infinite 0 rated player. So another very, very stacked lobby here. We'll have some tough wind here to start with on hole 1. And I believe my shot may have hit the fringe there. It may have clipped the very edge because it took a big bounce and kind of bounded over the hole. But some tough wind there. 26 miles an hour is always a tough hole out, even if it's not moving you a whole lot from left to right or right to left. So we'll see out of the lobby, 7 people in the lobby, 6 birdies. And now we'll have some tougher conditions in hole 2. So 24 miles an hour with that right pin doesn't leave you a whole lot of green to bounce this off of. So I'm going to aim this significantly to the right and kind of just hit this as if I were not dealing with any sort of head or tail wind, just kind of hitting a standard powered shot. And I leave it on the safe side, so 16 or so feet to the left is where I'll be. I'll have a makeable putt. It looks like Sensei was on my screen chipping from the bunker and ended up parring that one. So we'll see some variation in the leaderboard here. We'll have 3 birdies, 3 pars, and then one person is eliminated with 2 pars through the first 2 holes. And now we'll have a very interesting looking hole 16. Now, I don't know whether I can make this from this lower platform. Maybe if I was on the upper platform I could make it. We do already see Kuro go OB. But Sensei makes the bunker. So I'm not sure if I can make that. Yeah, Asphodel also goes OB. So a very risky shot there. After kind of hemming and hawing on which way I want to go, I end up going for the safer route. And oh man. Oh, the safer route is not safe. I put it in the bunker. So an unbelievable mistake there. There is so much fairway to work with, and the crosswind just didn't push me nearly as much as I thought it would. And I end up in the bunker, and I have to chip around that tree. That's the maximum power I could use with the 3-iron without losing my my aim. And Asphodel chips in for the par. So after going OB, kind of a clutch shot there. We'll probably see some birdies. There's one from KP Lixie. And I'll have to try to chip this one in just to stay on top of the leaderboard. My chip will be just short. So I leave it a little bit left, a little bit short. A tough one through some wind there. And after putting it in the bunker, kind of a baffling play on that drive to miss it like that. But now we'll be back to tied for first after having an opportunity after some people went OB and a couple pars on the last hole. I end up right back in a tie. And once again, we'll have these tougher conditions. Not my favorite setup for hole 18. We saw what happened the first time around. I launched over the green and ended up needing to chip from the back. After putting the drive, I landed it right where I wanted to. And now we'll have a tougher second shot. So I'm pretty deeply into that fairway, and you really want to cut it close with the rough, but not be in the rough when you have headwind like this. So this is a risky shot. I'm just kind of hoping to make it there. I mean, going over the green isn't as much of a concern this time with the wind in the face. So we'll hit just a full power driver and hope that makes it. That's not looking safe. It'll bounce off the rock and end up in the short rough. So a lucky play there just to stay alive. And now we'll have a chance to chip this. The wind doesn't push it as much as I thought it might. So a good run at it, just a little too far to the right. We'll have a putt for birdie. I don't think we saw any eagles on that one with that tougher wind. You would have had to have a real nice first drive and then also a really nice second shot just to put it close. So 37 is the score through 4 holes to tie for first. So some tougher conditions than the first game, but I stay alive for the finals, which is nice. So this is the final hole out of 5 here. We see hole 13 with some doable conditions, and that's on a great line, but it's just not quite going to come back. I landed that exactly where I wanted to, but with that tailwind, it just doesn't roll back as much as I thought it might, so I'll have to tap in for the birdie. We'll see Sensei birdie as well, KP Lixie will birdie, and Asphodel will chip in from off the green. So a nice save there. And we'll once again have a 4-way tie in a stacked lobby for first. And we'll head into the closest to pin that I will now be involved in. So I took the loss in the first game. We'll have to see what happens in this closest to pin here. This one is a curious one, to say the least. So we're far back on the hole 10 fairway. A very, very weird spot to be. There's a lot of uphill to this one. I'm thinking about 3.5 dots with the spoon should be pretty good. Now this one is Launch City. I have a feeling this one's just going to glide right over the green. But there's not a whole lot to do other than try to just carry that bunker and put it as short as possible, and I'll clip the bunker. So the bunker gets me twice in this round. But Sensei ends up just short of me. Someone else will also clip the bunker, KP Lixie. And out of all of that, I will end up in second place. So 3 of us clip the bunker. Asphodel puts it, it looks like on the green, so they will take the win. 14 feet away, a nice shot there. For those keeping track of the Sensei matchup, I can't call that a win. I just got a luckier bounce. That's a tie. So the record is Sensei 1 and 1 tie.